So the first class we're going to talk about our latest adhesive called Structure Bond. Okay, so it comes in a can, okay, and it gets dispensed out of a gun. Okay, very similar to standard caulking gun. Glue, adhesive. Okay, so how many of you guys in this group still use this? Okay, well hopefully after you've seen today what we're going to do and how quick we are, that you would actually be interested in a product called Structure Bond. Okay, so Techniseal not only manufactures adhesives, we manufacture cleaners, sealers, and which we're going to talk about a lot of that today. Okay, so let's get back to Structure Bond. So it's a 3-piece package. Okay, so you got to buy the gun. Again, you got to buy the gun for this type of adhesive, so you got to buy this type of gun. Okay, so to set up this gun, you're going to simply just take off this cap. Be careful how you screw this on, because this is metal, this is plastic. You don't want to cross thread this. Okay, that's rule number one. If you cross thread this glue is such a strong glue, it's hard to get off. Okay, so we're going to just manually, carefully just screw it on. Okay, I'm going to get it pretty much hand snugged. Okay, and I'm ready to go. Okay, so the other thing I want you guys to learn and know is that this has a valve control. Okay, so by turning this valve is basically going to tell you how far you can push this back. Okay, so you just don't want to crank this thing up full blast and start doing this and try to figure out how far you want to go, because this thing will shoot all the way clear across down that way. So what I would recommend is dialing it up small, very small, and then, because what you want to do is you want to be able to hold the trigger all the way down, right? You don't want to turn it up, so I'm going to go up a little higher. I'm going to go up a little higher. Okay, that's probably about as what you need. Okay, so all I can tell you is, do not do anything less or anything more what you're normally using with this. Okay, so once you find your desired speed, your desired bead size, you're just going to go in and lay it. Okay, so out here in Vegas, I know you guys, it's super hot, right? So think about this is a pressurized can, so you don't want to just leave this in the middle of the sun. Okay, because this thing could probably explode. Okay, it's got gases inside, right? So getting back to this, so this one can is equivalent to 20 of these. Okay, 20 of these and some, and you don't need much. This is way more far superior and stronger than something like this. The reason why, I'm going to get into the reason why a lot of these types of adhesives fail is because they're very thick and they leave air pockets in between the actual stone, right? You get water, moisture, and it just eventually breaks that bond. That's where these fail. Now, some of the negatives I'll tell you about this, and I'm just being very honest, is obviously a lot of these blocks that are made, they're not always perfect. So this is not going to level the blocks like this will. So if you're going to use this and your blocks are off, you can actually shim it, or some guys start scraping, or not scraping, like grinding down the blocks, right? So just note, this will not help you level anything. So the other advantage of this is, how many of you guys, I know it's dry, we're not in a wet weather out here, but how many of you guys wet cut?
Yeah, we do.
Okay, so if your block or your pavers are wet, will this stick to it?
No.
No, this one does. So in fact, we actually, considering how hot it is out here, we recommend going ahead and wetting the surface down, because it'll stick to it. It'll accelerate the cure time. So by wetting the surface is actually going to give you a little bit more workability, and it actually makes the cure process much more faster and quicker. Okay, so generally this adhesive will dry in about 8 minutes. So this right here, how long does this take to dry? Right? So how many of you guys ever built columns, like the stackable columns, and you use this and the columns start shifting, right? Yeah. So you won't have that problem with this product. So once you put it, it's going to start immediately drying. So the challenge that I'll tell you right now is, once you start spraying this, don't go long distances, because if you're that contractor that starts laying these walls and then tries to come back and plumb it, forget it. Too late. Okay, you got to make sure you plumb as you go. That's how fast this stuff works. So tell you what, who can set this up for me? Because we're gonna have a little challenge. Okay, I want you to put a bead on this side, and I want to put a bead on this side.
A bead, or do you want dots?
Well, how do you normally use that?
It depends on the product.
Okay, so normally, so let's just pretend you're going to build this wall. How would you use that product?
I would go like this.
So right now, this guy's working out his forearm, which is awesome. I give him that.
I need the exercise.
So I'm going to go. Come on, keep going. Let's go. Let's go. Come on. Come on.
I got a crusty.
Oh my God. What's wrong?
I don't know.
So now let's just start stacking. So if I can get some guys that want to build this wall real quick.
So there's a little bit of a learning curve to get it nice and clean like that, huh?
Yeah. You can see, I see how I'm adjusting it right here.
Yeah.
And the beauty is just trying to keep the tip clean.
So wipe it off after you use it?
Yeah, or if it gets hard, you just get a razor knife.
So we found by using the
Ooh.
nipple that it comes with,
Okay.
use the tip cleaner, and you can just pop that off and clean it.
So I'm gonna get started on this wall as well, while they finish that one. You don't need much adhesive. So while these guys are working on there, let's talk about the maintenance of this gun, okay? So obviously I still have a lot of adhesive left, okay? So you can get about 600 linear feet, depending on how you use it, right? So once I am done, there's still a lot of glue in here. So what you wanna do is you always wanna try to keep this thing upright, okay? Try to keep it upright as best as possible, because I don't know why science still, if it's on the side, somehow it leaks, okay? Even though this is ball bearing. So keep it up on this upside. You're not gonna take this gun apart. Okay, that's a big no-no, okay? This is a ball bearing that keeps all pressurized. The only thing I would say is shut this off.
Got it.
Okay, shut that off. Now, see how you got gunk here on the top? That's fine. You can actually use your cleaner and clean it every time, but it's just a waste. You could take this, spray it, eat it all up, okay? I just tell guys, leave it alone. When you're gonna use it, take your knife, cut it all off. Right? This tip is...
One of the things you want to pay attention to the structure bond is it's very handy when it's not completed, keep the gun on it, okay? And when it's hot here in the summer, you do need to put it in a shaded spot in your truck. Don't leave it exposed to the sun for very long because it is pressurized. But if you can, once you're back at your yard, put it in a cool place or at least a air temperature under shade, and it'll hold up. But if you leave it in the sun exposed for too long, it can pop off. And when you're also working with the valve to see how much you want to come out, doesn't hurt, get off to the side, in the landscaping or in the dirt, and just kind of shoot it a little bit, see how much is coming out as well. Then you can just use whatever setting you want. And if anyone hasn't had a chance to know what wall material we're working with here, this is a fairly new product with Belgard. It's called Steeple Crest. It's a 6-inch tall wall. It does also come with a pin, and it helps with retaining. So once it goes in and you put the pins in there, it will not move forward. So technically with this wall, you don't have to glue, but we're doing the glue for extra stability and everything else. So yeah, so it's
we'll do the caps later.
With engineering, you can build this wall up to 6 feet. If you go a little bit beyond that, it's kind of on you. It depends on retaining walls, what's behind the wall. Are you supporting a building? Are you supporting some sort of structure? If it's mostly just landscaping, you still want to be careful with hydrostatic pressure and put enough clean rock behind your wall. We have a standardized engineering that a California engineer provided us that says, hey, this is where you need to put your geogrids and everything else. Should you have to maybe get a local engineer, you might have to show him that, and then he can give you the proper engineering with the soils report.
All right, guys, so coming back to the actual maintenance of this gun, like I said earlier, there's a lot of glue in here, so do not take it apart because it's pressurized, right? So once you release the pressure, air gets in here, this can's dust. So you take the can off, right? Once it's empty, and you're gonna still probably have a little bit of residual gunk in there. So if you're gonna keep going, I recommend just spraying it so it eats up all the gunk in there, and then go ahead and put another can and keep going, okay? So that's to keep going. Now let's just assume that you are done and you're actually done and you wanna put the gun away. So then you're gonna run the cleaner through it and spray it out till all the adhesive goes out, and then let it sit in the gun for about 10, 15 minutes, and then spray it all out and you're good to go. So that's something you wanna maintain. Generally, if you wanna keep this gun in good condition, try to run the cleaner once before you put a new can. Just to try to keep it running in good condition. And that's basically it.